everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my Heritage Scrapbook. Today I am using a couple of photos of my father-in-law from the late 40s, early 50s to scrapbook a story that he told us. So today I'm focusing on storytelling. I'm using these 6x6 papers from Studio Calico's South of Market collection. They came in a really old kit. The wood grain paper is from Maggie Holmes' confetti line and a few other bits and pieces. When I got these papers in the Studio Calico kit, I thought, what in the world am I going to use them for? Because they're totally not my style. But I held on to them and they ended up working perfectly with this story. So one night I was looking through my father-in-law's photo albums that his mother had kept, and she kept really great notes. She identified everyone in the photo. She would caption a lot of the pictures too, just indicating exactly what was going on. And I'm so thankful that she did that, because we're looking at photos that are over 100 years old and we're able to identify who everyone is. And there might be a little anecdote in there too, and it's just really interesting and kind of validates what I do as a scrapbooker, because you never know who's going to be going through these books. Maybe in 100 years, who knows. So what I'm doing here is I decided that I wanted to use up these frames that I've been collecting by the dozens. So these are from Crepe Paper's Open Road collection, and I thought that it would be great to use these frames to contain the two photos that I'm using and my journaling that's going to go in that frame right there. The pattern papers were really great for this story, I felt, and I wanted to put those in the frames as well. I wanted to use every single color that I had originally pulled out, the blue, the red, and the yellow. So I kind of struggle with how I'm going to do that because I only wanted to use 5 frames. I wanted to keep it an odd number. I do end up putting another one in there, but you'll see exactly how that works out. So what was going on was, like I said, I was at my in-laws looking through these photo albums, and my father-in-law was just, telling us all of these information about these photos, and there was no way that I could get it down. I had my little memo pad open on my iPhone and was trying to feverishly type as he was talking, and I realized you don't have to do it this way. So I pressed record on my voice memo app, and I just recorded everything that he was saying. I have about 20 minutes of audio, and out of that came this gem. He ended up telling us this story about this one event in his childhood that made him feel like Tom Sawyer. So I'll go ahead and tell you about that once I get to the journaling. But you'll see here that in an effort to bring in some of those additional pattern papers, I thought maybe I wanted to layer them underneath the picture frames. And I didn't like how that looked. I tried to make it work a couple times, but I didn't have the perseverance to make it work. And so I'm going to pull those aside and get my journaling down. So I decided to get everything stuck down, and I quickly realized that my tape runner is not going to work to keep these frames down. So I pull out my glossy accents and blob some of that on there. So I'm starting to very carefully write my journaling into this picture frame. So what I did was I listened to the audio from my phone and I transcribed it onto my steno pad that I use for journaling. So it's a story about when he was a boy. He was 10 or 12 years old, and I wrote it in quotes exactly how he had told it to us. And then at the bottom of the journaling I wrote his name and as told to Stephen and Jillian. So it's pretty interesting. He said when he was a kid, they had 4 apple trees on their property, and he was responsible for cleaning up all of the rotting apples. So what he would do is he would bring all of the neighborhood kids in, and they would make a game of it. Each tree represented a fort, and they would throw the apples at each other as part of their game. So when it was time for all of the kids to go home, he had 4 piles of apples, and he didn't have to wander all over their huge yard to pick up these rotting apples that bees would, make their nest in. So he said he, kind of was tickled with himself as he was telling us this story, and he said, all I had to do was pick up 4 piles, so I felt like Tom Sawyer. And I just thought that was such a great story, and I ended up titling this page, I Felt Like Tom Sawyer. So these photos aren't necessarily from the exact time that happened, but this is how I imagined he looked when he told us this story. So I'm going ahead and committing to how I want those, the remaining frames to stay on the page. Next up, I pulled out the embellishments that I had selected. I'm using those craft tile alphas from Joann's and those white chipboard alphas. I have no idea where they're from. I got them in on sale at my local scrapbook store that was closing, so it was a madhouse, and I'm not sure what I did with the packaging, but I'm sorry, I don't know where they're from. They're just a white chipboard letter sticker. So I'm going to get my title down here. I'm using the wax paper for the tile stickers because I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to lay them out. The chipboard alpha stickers still have the sheet covering the adhesive, so I can move those around. So I basically, I just stack those on top of the photo, and then I pull out that plastic paper clip. It's from Studio Calico. I think it's from their Color Theory collection. Each pack is basically one color. I had pulled out some of the die cut pieces from a very old crepe paper collection, close knit. That's where those die cut pieces on the left are from. I thought I might want to use those, but they were too big for the page. I also like the texture of these burlap stickers. I got them as a thank you, I think, from some online retailer. So I like the texture, but I couldn't figure out where to put them on the page. So I end up foregoing those. So I go ahead and get my title stuck down, and then I really want to fill that space next to it. So I thought that button might work, but while I'm thinking about what's going to go there, I go ahead and get the top part of my title stuck down. So I pull out the rest of the embellishments to try and fill that space. I kind of put those die cuts in there again and realized they're too big. I put the burlap stickers back in there and decide that that's not really the look I'm going for. I had something else in mind. So what I decide to do is, after I fidget around with that for a little bit, I decide I want some different embellishments, and my camera decided to cut all of that out. It just stopped recording. So what I'm going to do is put some of this white Heidi Swap color shine on the layout. It does not dry white though, it just dries like little wet dots of shimmer. So what I decide to do is use some white acrylic paint instead and splatter that on with the nozzle from the color shine. I thought that it tied in the Tom Sawyer story of when he tricked his friends into whitewashing the fence for him. And that's my layout. Here's a finished look and some close-ups. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment, and I will be sure to list the supplies I used below. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.